we started off in 2009 as a sports management company. We used to conduct sports events for the corporates. We did it for about 4 or 5 years, but we couldn't scale it. So we were facing challenge to source trophies and awards. So in 2014, we launched Trophy Cup. We started as a trophy company, and there was a plan B if it doesn't work out. So we can always use those products in our like whatever we are doing. We can always use it in our product.
So hi everyone, today we are at Trophy Card and I'm here with one of the co-founders, who's Asta. Hi ma'am. And so could you please briefly introduce yourself and tell us about what you're doing here?
So we are a corporate gifting and awards company. We manufacture trophies and we do all kind of corporate gifting, like all kind of branded merchandise like t-shirts, bottles, onboarding kits, Diwali kits. Basically any kind of gifts that an employee requires in the company. So we do everything.
Right. Okay, so I can see that you guys are registered as Front Foot Sports Management, right? So did you guys like start off as a sports business and then did you like pivot later on towards this merchandising stuff? Because I can see that you have customers like Myntra and Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is that actually the case?
Yes. So it's a long story actually. We started off in 2009 as a sports management company. We used to conduct sports events for the corporates. We did it for about 4 or 5 years, but we couldn't scale it. So we were facing challenge to source trophies and awards because we were doing sports events. Trophies was a big part of it.
Right.
So we were not finding any professional vendor. We were struggling with good options in the market, and nobody was. We had always last minute issues like there was a committed date which was given and. Again, the vendor used to say in the last minute that this is not possible, there is an issue that is happening.
Right.
So we thought if being an event management company, we are going through so much of struggle, then what about the corporates? Either they will be paying exorbitant high pricing,
Right.
or they might not be getting good services, same as ours.
Yes.
So we thought, why not to bridge the gap? So in 2014, we launched Trophy Cup. We started as a trophy company, and there was a plan B if it doesn't work out. So we can always use those products in our, like whatever we are doing, we can always use it in our event as well.
Right.
So 2014 we went to China, we sourced a lot of trophies from there. India, a lot of manufacturing happens, but that time we didn't find a very good quality product here.
Right.
So we initially started with sourcing from China. We made an online store which can be more convenient because that time online was not, it was still in a like a kind of a booming and growing stage. So we thought like we'll make it more convenient for people that they don't have to visit, they don't have to go, they'll get it all Google delivered. So we started off from a very small garage and within a span of time, within a year's time, like we scaled our team. That garage converted into a complete building. Office from a residential space, and within few years we started growing.
Awesome.
Then COVID came, we again had a challenge. It was an event-based product,
Right.
so there were no sourcing of trophies and awards. It was happening but a very small level sourcing.
Right.
And by that time we had stores across Pune, Chennai, and we had to close down everything. We had to downsize the team because business was not there. It was completely shut everywhere. Then we went back to our customers and we checked with them. Is there something else that we can offer it to you?
Okay.
So our customers told us we also have a requirement for corporate gifts.
Right.
If you can cater to that requirement, we can always give you RFQs to participate.
Right.
So we immediately kind of again diversified and then we came into corporate gifting.
Got it.
So through COVID we survived somehow,
Right.
and then post that we started like as a complete corporate gifting and awards company.
Got it. Fantastic. That's awesome. So let's get into the craft and the gifting side of what you guys do, right? So in all these years of operating, what's been like the most challenging request that you've received from a customer, if there's any?
So there have been many challenging requests, especially on the delivery timeline part. So customers will come in the last minute, they will expect us to be like superhuman in the company and we can deliver like large volume orders in a very short time. So say for example, recently we had one of the orders where a customer came in and they wanted like close to around 2,000 trophies and they wanted us to finish this off in 1 week's time. So the discussion started off almost like 20-25 days back,
Right.
wherein they, just to finalize the trophy design, everything, they took almost about 15 days, and the last 5 days they gave it to us that you have to do something which do not exist. The trophy was not even into, like we didn't have any stock that was supposed to be manufactured, and we just had 5 days to finish the job.
Oh, no.
So
Okay.
we told them that this is something like just not doable, but since they had an event planned, we could not help it. So somehow we managed that. So we worked almost like we doubled down our shift. We worked, our office was running for like whole 24/7 now, or 24/7, and we somehow did the production and we could achieve that.
Right.
But these kind of incidences keeps on happening where, yeah, we get a lot of customer requests for last minute handling of orders.
Right, right. Okay. So the other day you had mentioned that he wasn't receiving like a big order, right? So like, could you please walk me through the entire process of, from like procuring the raw material to maybe like the end final delivery to the customer? How does that process look like?
So, like generally, it is like either we keep the, depends on what kind of order we get. The last order that we spoke about, that was our like a large size order. We got an order for around 13,800 t-shirts, and for one of our customers, and they gave us around 35 to 40 days of time to deliver the products. Brand in that case wanted from us around 45 days to give the delivery. Post that, we had to do embroidery branding on those products, and we were supposed to sort, pack everything and deliver. But somehow again, overall process, we got somewhere around 35 odd days by the time the order came into us. The PO, everything was released to us. So brand also told that somehow we will manage. Like we all, when it comes to order, everybody, all of us are there to take the orders. So we were supposed to get the delivery almost like around, we were supposed to, like the delivery was supposed to start somewhere down the line around 12 or 13 odd days before the delivery date that we have committed to the customer. But we started getting the products, the t-shirts, we started getting it just around 4 or 5 days back. And that it was not whole complete lot. We started getting in like 2,000 per day, 3,000 per day, and we were supposed to do branding on them. So, and on one t-shirt there were 2 branding that goes to about like around 27,000 odd branding.
Yeah.
And it was all embroidery. So we had to figure out multiple embroidery units where we can give the t-shirts for branding.
Right.
Post that, after the branding also there's a lot of work because we did not know which sizes are coming, how much quantity those sizes are there. And we had to deliver it to multiple locations, multiple users. In the sense, like we were supposed to deliver to say one location, but there were like multiple users. To one user, we were supposed to deliver somewhere around 400 t-shirts, to the other user around 1,000 t-shirts, and so on. So there were different quantity with t-shirts. You have different sizes as well.
Right.
So it was hell of a lot of a task for us because it was only 5 days that we got in hand to do the branding, to do the sorting, folding of t-shirts, packaging, and then delivering also.
Right.
So that was very challenging. We put around 18 to 20 odd people on this particular job.
Okay.
They worked from morning somewhere around 8 o'clock we started. We did it like around 8 to 10 o'clock in the night.
Oh my
But
God.
somehow we could manage, and we made sure that we did it on time.
Got it. So you mentioned delivering the orders to the customer, right? Like, do you do it like on a request basis, or does the client handle the logistics part? How does that
No,
work?
so we do deliver because with corporates, generally all of our customers are corporates, like 90% of them are corporates, and they would want end-to-end services. They would not want to get into anywhere that they are coming and collecting the products.
Right.
So if it's like school, colleges, sometimes they place the order, generally they will come and collect. Otherwise, 90% of the cases we are door delivering the products.
Got it. Understood. Okay. So when somebody talks about printing, right? Printing on merchandise, most people would just assume that okay, you just get the raw material, print and just send it off, right? But I'm sure there's like methods to this printing, right? Like it could be UV printing, laser printing, and sublimation, I guess, right? How do you like decide what kind of printing a project needs? Like, is there a method to it?
So there's no such method, but we do have what a printer or what a machine can print actually, on what medium it can print.
Okay.
So we have a large setup here. So we have all kind of a printing production setup here. We have UV machine, we have DTF printing, we have laser engraving, cutting machine, we have metal marking machine,
Okay.
sublimation, all kind of a printing, whatever comes, like whatever is required for branded merchandise, we have all kind of a branded thing.
Got it.
So now it all depends on customers' preferences also.
Yeah.
Plus, what is viable, we inform the customer that this kind of a printing is viable on this kind of a medium.
Okay.
Say for a T-shirt, we can have DTF printing also, and we can have embroidery also.
Okay.
DTF doesn't last very long; it lasts for about 30 washes. Embroidery is like forever.
Yeah.
Even if the cloth might get torn off, embroidery will still be there.
Yeah.
So depend on what the customer requirement and what their budget is, we suggest them that this is the best possible option that they should go with.
Right.
So
Right.
like similarly for every kind of a material, there are different, it could be one machine which can do it, it could be multiple machine also. So
Got
it is what the customer foresees, like whether they want colored printing, they want a more permanent solution even if there is no color to it. So
Okay.
depending upon that, we suggest them the options and then they pick and choose and tell us that this is what they want and we do it.
Right. Understood. So, what's like that one job that you guys do, which, let's say, for a client looks very simple from the outside, but it's like a nightmare for you guys. It's a dread for you. Is there something?
So sometimes, especially when it comes to customized trophies, so what happens generally, client will keep on sharing any kind of image with us, and now with AI, they'll generate any damn thing in the world and they'll tell us this is what we are looking for.
Right.
It might look very simple, why can't you make it? But it becomes very difficult when it comes to the execution. So right now, we are doing one sampling for Myntra.
Okay.
So they have an office wall in the Myntra's office. So they have a wall where there's a Myntra logo in the center, and around that wall there are a lot of thread spools.
Okay.
They want us to replicate that in the trophy.
Okay.
Imagine a small trophy of 8 or 10 inches with about 50 small thread spools around it and a logo in the center.
Okay.
And they've given us 2 days timeline. In 2 days you submit the sample and they're after us, why cannot you do it? Like what is the problem that you're facing?
Right.
We cannot even explain the problem that we are facing, but technical, like when we consider small technical things, it becomes very difficult for us to execute.
Right.
Fixing in a very small plate, we are fixing small threads and putting so many things. Sometimes one thing goes wrong, sometimes other thing goes wrong,
Yeah.
and my team will be, it's not happening. Like so, we keep on trying multiple times, and it will always be like we have a certain timeline, we have to deliver the thing, but it's just not happening.
Right.
So these are the incidences where maybe the client feels that they can make, like it looks very simple, right?
Right.
But when it comes to actually like achieving the result, it becomes very difficult for
Exactly.
us.
Yeah. Totally. Okay. So when you guys started off, right? Like, what did it cost to like set up the machinery, the workshop, and everything? And like, did you guys import the machines? And for someone who would, let's say, maybe wants to start something similar, how should they think about this?
So in our case, we didn't start with a workshop. We started just from a garage with a lot of inventory,
Okay.
and then we slowly generated money from the business and we started investing in smaller machines, and then we kind of scaled it up.
Right.
So it took us almost like about 4 or 5 odd years to set up the entire production unit that we have. Because initial years we started with the very basic machines, and then we kept on investing. So if we talk about each and every machine, it starts somewhere from around 5 odd lakhs per machine to it goes up to around 30-35 lakhs
Okay.
per machine.
Right.
So we kept on, as and when we kept on growing. So we initially started with doing something in-house and we were outsourcing all the work. As and when we kept on generating revenue, we kept on growing. We started having everything in-house because once we have the setup in-house, we have complete control over how the branding is. Like we can do better QC. We'll have entire control on this.
Right.
So if somebody has to start with the entire setup, they would roughly need somewhere close to 1 to 2 CR for starting off, like with all the basic machineries and everything.
Got it.
So About the machinery, so we have machineries from everywhere. It's majorly all imported ones. There are a couple of machines which are Chinese made. There are we have machine from Taiwan, we have from Japan.
Okay.
So we have Indian distributors with whom we source.
Okay.
But right now the machines which are there in India are not that efficient compared to the machineries which are available in Japan or say Taiwan.
Got it.
So we've done the imports of those machines.
Understood. Interesting. Got it. So, do you know of any instance where maybe an order of yours got vanished in between, or maybe got stuck in transit somewhere when delivering to a customer? Has it ever happened?
It happens many a time. We come across at least a shipment which is stuck somewhere in the transit and we're not able to deliver it on time, or some action needs to be taken.
Right.
It has also happened that there were some shipments which were completely lost by the courier.
Mhm.
So there was an instance where a client in Mumbai had an event,
Okay.
and the event was they gave us some time. They asked us to deliver. It was a decent size volume order, somewhere about 60,000 or 70,000 rupee order.
Okay.
And trophies were there. And with trophies, generally we have a lot of timeline because it will be scheduled for an event.
Right.
If it's a merchandise, we can they can give it any odd day, but when it comes to trophies, it has to be given on a particular day.
Yes.
So they had an event just 2 days post that, and we were not able to track the shipment. Like we were able to track, it was showing somewhere, but from past 3 or 4 odd days, it was showing at the same place. We sent it via Blue Dart. Generally with Blue Dart, like we never face that challenge. The delivery part, everything is very good. We reached to their customer support team, and they mentioned that they're not able to track the shipment. And customer was very panicked what to do because the event is there. What will they give on the event if the shipment is not found?
Yeah.
Luckily, we had about 2 days time in hand. We sent the entire new shipment from here by air
Okay.
to them, and we made sure that they had the products in hand on time.
Right.
But we discovered, we found the shipment later on. Like we got a notification from Blue Dart after a week's time that they found the shipment and they returned it back to us.
Okay.
So the situation becomes very challenging in these moments to handle.
Right.
But yeah, these keeps on happening. It's a part and parcel of business, I suppose.
Right. Totally. Yeah. Okay. So, on a busy week, right, with like money moving everywhere, right, it could be vendor payments, buying materials, right, how do you guys like keep track of how much money is going in and coming out?
Okay. So we use various applications. For money in, it will be like generally we receive all NEFT payments because it's all we receive NEFT also, and we also receive via payment links and all. So it comes directly to the bank. We're using applications like PaySapay, Paytm and all those for that, and Google Pay and all those.
Right.
And we're using Zoho application where we keep a track of all the whatever money is coming in for that.
Right.
So for making the payments, we have we use majorly around 70% of our payments happen via NEFT.
Okay.
And earlier we used to do some cash payments as well, and nowadays every vendor expects that we do UPI payments.
Right.
So now we are using Cashbook. Before than that, we were facing real challenge. So we used to have vendors asking. Nowadays, nobody wants to take cash. So vendors used to come to our office for delivering material, courier partners and all. They'll say it'll generally come in 2 pay. So they'll expect us to make the payment there. So our team used to come all the time and please make payment for this, because then we used to make all the payments from our personal UPI. And it was very chaotic for us because at the time of urgency we do the payment and then we forget that we've done some payment. So generally it used to be after a year's time when we have to do the final, we have to close the books of accounts, then our accountant will ask, we are not finding these details. Then it was a big headache for us to go back to figure out how the payment was done, who has done the payment, what was the payment mode. So it was a very big challenge for us, and especially when it comes to cash, our balances were not matching. This much cash is there, but these many expenses are there, but nothing was matching. All the time we had to face a lot of challenge because of that. So now after using Cashbook, we are able to track that, and it's very convenient for us that we have assigned multiple people who can do payments on the company's behalf. We've given them wallets, Their time is also getting saved because they don't have to come to us, they don't have to reach out to their accountant. So
Yeah.
otherwise it becomes a long approval process that they have to go take the approval, then the payment is approved, the vendor will keep on asking. So that entire channel is kind of streamlined.
Okay.
And we can track all the expenses. They generally update all the invoices, whatever they are making a payment, they are uploading everything in the application itself. So it has become overall very simple for us to manage the entire thing.
Awesome, awesome. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you rate Cashbook?
I would rate 10 out of 10. So I'm a big fan of the application now. So we are at very ease as a company. Like I would advise every small company to have use the application.
Yeah.
It helps. I'm pretty sure larger companies, I'm sure they'll have their own processes and everything. But even if they use that, can be beneficial. But for smaller companies, I'm sure like it's going to be of a very big help.
Right.
So we were really having a challenge before like this, and after Cashbook, now we are at very ease. We have people who are working out of Bangalore for us. We have given them, so we can approve whatever payments we want them to utilize. We'll only transfer that much funds. They can use those funds. They can make a quicker transaction instead of waiting for our approvals or instead of calling us multiple times. Please do this payment. Please approve this.
Yeah.
So that channel has shortened up and people's productivity has increased.
Got it. Awesome. Good to hear, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.